it's time to ride the funk train right when Amber decides to take a dive.
Where can we ride the funk train to?
Well, right now we are departing Speedwell, Tennessee, heading up to Penis, Kentucky. Oh,
Penis.
Yeah, I knew.
Did you? Oh, you ladies never heard the story about Penis, Tennessee, have you?
So there was open with that.
Sure, why not? So this wrestler, I can't remember who it was, but he was like a little fella. And
open with that.
Is this me?
Sure, why not?
Me.
No, that's Amber.
That's me. And so this little fella is cutting like a promo on a train track, and it's terrible. And he meant to put live in Oneida, Tennessee, and it auto-corrected to Penis, Tennessee.
Penis.
So he's like, come on, man, it's a serious promo. I was like, dude, it cannot be a serious promo when it says in Penis, Tennessee.
That guy was a dick.
Yeah, Big Luke segment brought to you by Tinkle's Dynamite Cinnamon Moonshine from the Sugarlands.
Oh man. And you're gonna start smoking cigarettes, and Amber's got a hemp lollipop or something. THC.
Well, Tinkle gave me this, and he's one of the moonshiners.
Is he from Penis, Tennessee too?
And
Tinkle from Penis.
Well, apparently his name is Tickle, and he does not like it when you call him Tinkle. So I did a lot.
Then I wouldn't drink that then.
It was sealed.
Okay.
But it's nice and smooth. Cinnamon moonshine.
You drinking girl moonshine? I thought you were against that.
It's 70 proof.
Well, that's
they say that you can make alcohol out of just about anything. I bet you could make alcohol out of urine.
You
could.
I'm sure you could. Isn't that juniper?
Would you drink that too?
Sure. It depends whose urine it was. Awkward silence.
Yeah. Dead air. So not good.
So we had a huge weekend where we drove to Myrtle Beach and back, did a couple ghost hunts, got to see our girl Candy and her fantastic new baby and her good, well-acted, round-headed kids.
Round-headed knuckleheads.
Yeah.
That were all chewing on the carpet down there. No, we shot a wrestling. We shot a wrestling with ghosts down there. Looking for the Causey Light, which you've probably never heard of the Causey Light. It's a local legend down there to Tabor City. We didn't quite make it to Myrtle Beach, I don't think, but it was.
We're within 30 miles.
It was getting to the point though where the Causey Light was, where when I was chasing that guy, there was sand covering the road. So yeah, it was getting out there pretty close to the beach, I guess. It's a really weird topography to me down there.
Now, the thing is, because like we went north and got to South Carolina, south of the border. We make wrestling with ghosts. We've made wrestling with ghosts for years now. But why don't we just make a show of us in novelty shops? Because that's way funnier.
Well, I had what is that? Who's breathing like that? Was that you?
That was me. I was laughing. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was remembering the rubber chickens and the giant fly swatter and the pig.
Oh, and I don't have.
It sounded like you were thinking about.
I don't have
things.
I don't have any of my gimmicks near me either. Like the chicken's way over there.
Sad.
I like how Allison Robinson, I don't know who that is, she just commented an angry face. It was just like, thank you.
No, you need to wrestle ghosts. No novelties for you.
No, this was about Luke talking about one of his crazy things. I don't know, Penis, Tennessee or something. She probably.
Well, did you see that? She's probably mad about me talking about
Tinkle,
about Tinkle. But did you see that video of really attractive singer of a band that does Brass Machine or Brass Against is what they're called in Florida?
Nope.
And she they were doing a brass section cover of a Rage Against the Machine song, and she just pulls a dude out of the audience and pees on him. And people are flipping their shit. And I'm like, dude, there's videos of it all over the place. It's called Brass Against.
Brother.
No, the dude was for it. And I'm like,
they're flipping the shit which way? Like they're angry at her or they like it?
Yeah, like they're angry at her. And I'm like, dude, that's first of all, that's rock and roll. Second of all, if we're supposed to, and we do fully accept that, like women are men and there's no genders and all this stuff, then who cares who pees on who?
Well, I
do. I don't want to get peed on.
I don't want to get peed on. But you bring up a great point. Don't we want our rock stars to be crazy? I mean, it's like they used to tear up like hotel rooms and have goats crap all over the sheets and stuff.
And if you ever saw this girl, she's your kind of girl.
Well, I don't know if I'd want her to pee on me. But it would be no.
If you saw this girl, it would open some new horizons for you.
I don't think so. I just showered today. Thank you already once. But I do think rock and rollers need to be on the outer margins of society. Them being intellectuals and polite people, I don't have a lot of interest in any of that. I'd rather see somebody act crazy.
And nobody's heard of Brass Against the Machine or Brass Against until now. So it worked out well. Publicity stunt.
But she'll probably get canceled and you'll never see him again or they'll not get booked. And there's a fine line. I mean, if the guy was not for it, then that is bad.
No, he was for it. Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, frickin' Iggy Pop this is actually a true story. A guy at an Iggy Pop show that was a friend of a friend. He's actually a friend of the guy that I based Jack Lowe Jr. on, talking about WJHC, but that's right. He was a friend of that guy. So, but he actually asked Iggy Pop at a concert. He goes, "Hey, Iggy, do something weird." And Iggy just looked down at him and stuck his finger down his throat and just puked on him. Yeah. Guy loved it. I think that's gross. I wouldn't be for it, but that's
rock and roll, man.
Mike Patton from Faith No More, which is one of my favorite bands. He used to
they're so good.
He used to eat shit and drink piss, and Ozzy Osbourne bit the head off of a bat. I mean, you can just go back. Fucking George
snorted
Clinton.
Ants.
Yeah, George Clinton used to come out of the mothership every show completely naked with his Johnson flopping around, and nobody ever knew it.
No.
One time he was on stage with Sly Stone, and Sly Stone's acting like, yeah, and he turns around, sees George coming out with everything flopping up and down, and Sly Stone took the hell right off the stage. He did not play with Parliament that night. But anyway, the other weird thing this week with music is what happened with Travis Scott last week. Have you guys heard about that?
Again,
who hasn't?
Yeah, but
it. Well, I don't know. Some people are. We don't. None of us.
Some people live under rocks.
I will tell you this: I found out that Travis Scott is a rapper. I thought he was a country singer.
Yeah, his name screams country.
He sounds like a country singer.
It's like
his real name is something like. It's cool. It's Jacques, but he changed it to Travis Scott because those were two people he adored. But do you think he's liable for death as a performer? Do you?
Yeah, because he did not. He
telling the crowd to put their middle fingers in the air at the ambulance and pretty much to block them as they were trying to make their way through the crowd. You see an ambulance in your crowd, yeah, you know that there's some mess going down.
See, I'm
otherwise you don't have two brain cells to rub together, and you don't need to be on stage.
And
I'm ignorant of what happened.
People were literally screaming at him that stop the show. Somebody's dead down here, shit like that.
Kids were screaming at the cameraman and everything. The cameraman heard. The cameraman could have radioed in and did not bother, and they could have stopped the whole thing. Every single one of those people, the whole production company is liable.
Well, you are all the time. You are all the time at concerts, Tracy.
Yeah.
So if a performer is on stage, and Luke is a performer, Amber's a performer, I was too. It's loud as hell up there. You can't hear yourself. So when people are going, it just looks like they're going crazy for the show. Did anybody go up to Travis Scott while the shit was going down and grab him? I would think the people that were the concert promoters would be the ones to blame.
He would have had an earpiece in. The camera guys could have radioed into control. Control could have turned on all the house lights and killed all the sound, all the power to the speakers.
I think
they could have saved everybody.
There's some liability on him just for the way he was egging it on, but this isn't funny. So let's talk about something else.
I'm just scared. I don't have friends, so I'm just asking because I don't know how most people are thinking about it.
So you don't have friends. What are we?
All right, Candy says 2 guys did. There's footage. 2 guys did what? Go up to Travis Scott and try to warn him? I agree with Luke. We need to switch gears here, but I'm just I want to put an exclamation point on this.
So I want to run this by you. I think I came up with a pretty decent tagline for our 4th movie, which is going to be a very avant-garde kind of movie called Computer Generated Movie, where I'm not going to give away much of the plot or any of the plot, but it's basically it's following us around in real life situations, but not, it's not going to be like, set cameras and shit. Yeah, kind of a mockumentary. But I think the perfect tagline for it is lights, camera, a-holes.
Not assholes, but just
a-holes.
A-holes. Yeah.
I like it. Lights. The problem with that tagline is it takes somebody to say it just like you said it. If somebody reads it, it's going to be quicker. But
then you do ellipsis. There's lights, cameras, a-holes.
Well, we can put you saying it in the promos for it.
No, yes. We'd have to have Lance. Trailer. Yeah, you have to have Lance. Lights, cameras, a-holes.
Yeah, that's good. And I won't say anything about CGM or computer generated movie because I'm afraid somebody's going to steal the idea. Actually, it's Travis's idea. It's one of the best ideas for a movie I've ever heard. And it's actually going to be loosely based on the horror sci-fi movie Space Odyssey 2001. So that's a little bit of a dip in the toe for you on that. So
yeah, well, and it's cool because we decided earlier that we're going to do it as like a mockumentary type deal because all of our, some of our, mine and Vinny's, I don't know, we haven't talked to you two about this, but like so far our movies are kind of going in the flow of our favorite, our favorite movies, like let's say WJHC is kind of those 90s or 80s campy VHS horror movies. And the next one's going to be, kind of Clerksy. And then WJHC is going to be kind of like the 90s Laserdisc type movies. And Camp Smokey is going to be a straight up 80s slasher style movie. And then those are some of our favorite size movies. But, me and Vinny also really, really love mockumentaries. One of my favorite movies that I can watch nonstop is called Best in Show.
Oh yeah,
and it is Eugene Levy was just a gem of a human being that there's nobody. And then what's his name?
Fred Willard.
Fred Willard. Oh yeah. God, man.
Christopher Guest.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of This Is Spinal Tap. I like The Office. I know Luke isn't crazy about The Office, but The Office basically.
The Office.
Yeah. If we just need background noise, it's always The Office or The Hike now. It's funny, every time we leave the dog alone, we play The Hike, and the dog knows the end of the movie now, so he's gonna be afraid of Candy if Candy ever comes back over. But
oh, gracious.
Well, I got a little branch off here. Is I ran into one of the Gatlinburg police officers I used to work with at my son's basketball, and this is a guy I was really good friends with. Like he's a cool guy, man. It's like he's one of those guys that everything he says is cool. But he told me that all the old he said all the old heads, which are the people that I worked with 7 years ago. There's only like 5 of them left at the police department, but he said they all watched The Hike. And they thought it was hilarious.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. So there's no animosity with you leaving the police department and all that stuff. Okay.
No. I actually talked to a younger cop that I don't know, and he knew who I was by reputation, and I was like, oh shit. And he goes, no, he started telling me a bunch of stories that he heard about me, and I was like, 25% of each story is true. Those have been well embellished, but they're based in reality. And the other thing he says is that people always say is you got screwed. So it's good, people know
that you got screwed
at
when you visited your dad, or
oh yeah, when I visited my dad, I got the sex.
I know you've been writing a song about his one testicle for your performance.
Dude, it's so funny. The song wrote itself. It's everybody asks me to sing Family Tradition, and I don't know why, because I said that's a very uniquely autobiographical song. I mean, it's ridiculous to ask anybody that's not Hank Williams Jr. to sing that song. And so I narcissistically changed the lyrics to have something to do, so it's about me, and the jokes just wrote themselves. And the second verse is all about my dad's one ball, but
he's one nutty guy.
Yeah, that's in there. But yeah, so that's going to be one of those. I'm going to, I'll turn into a bit. But I'm going to throw it out if people aren't paying attention, because everybody, as soon as if people aren't paying attention, they start hearing country music singers are a close family. That's the only line that's the same in the movie, or in the song, because I changed it. The next line is, and I'm not a country music singer, so it don't mean shit to me.
If you make that a bit, every time somebody asks for that song, eventually they're going to quit asking for that song. That's the good thing about it.
Yeah, but I have a rotating crowd.
Yeah,
I have a rotating crowd, so it's like, and I'm moving from the Loco rooftop, which is a dinner.
What do you mean? Are they on those?
No, it's just it's a transient crowd. It's
homeless people.
Yeah, it's homeless people. No, it's because
it's temporarily homeless because they're living in hotels.
It's a tourist town, so there's 12 million people that visit a year, and we are, I'm moving from Loco's rooftop, which is a dinner crowd, down to Pucker's, which is a bar. And sure, I'll have a local, some locals in there, but there's a lot of, 90% of that crowd's tourists. So I can play the same jokes, do the same things 3 times a week, and put on a good show.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And make a bunch of money. And I love a bar crowd.
What happened with Fish getting kicked out of Shamrocks last night?
Oh, he left
drunk?
No, he forgot his wallet.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. And so they wouldn't let him in without an ID, even though he's worked there for 6 years.
Okay. On Facebook,
I don't know who you are.
It looked like a big to-do. Yeah, and Fish is, for a white man, Fish is one of the most recognizable human beings. Yeah. His hair is insane. He's always wearing a hat like he's a character from a video game. But Amber, what are you wearing, Amber? What kind of shirt is that?
A sweatshirt. It's a sweatshirt.
Okay, there's a lot of skin. We have children that watch this.
Part of a sweatshirt.
Well, stop looking at me, Benny. It's making you uncomfortable. Stop looking.
It's getting me.
If we want to be uncomfortable, I have a banana.
So what are you going to do with that?
Eat it because I'm hungry.
Oh.
That's why I made the charcuterie. See, no, not the way that Amber ate it, because I'm not a hoe.
Mine apart. No, I broke it apart. I didn't want to distract Benny on the road.
I made a charcuterie or charcuterie or whatever. I'm going to take French next semester, not this semester.
That looks nice, but you shouldn't be eating on a podcast.
But I'm hungry. If I don't eat when I'm hungry, then
we only let Luke smoke because he's bigger than the rest of us. Speaking of that, I guess the 25th of December.
I do what I want.
Is Luke and I are going to be wrestling again.
Christmas night, we're wrestling.
Night. Down in Maryville, is that where this will be?
Yeah, it's at one of the schools in Maryville. We'll have a good time. They're
on camera.
It's Roger Rex and ETCW, and they always pull big fundraising crowds, and
it'll be interesting to see on Christmas if it will be a bomb scare or it's going to be huge.
Yeah. Well, the the biggest shows we've ever worked has been for him in Tennessee.
Right.
When we go out, like most Tennessee shows draw to, somewhere anywhere between 2 to 200 people.
Wait, 10 to 200 people.
Two. I'm talking about paid crowd.
2
yeah,
200. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, 2 to 200 people. And like we had a couple shows with Roger one was at Eagleton where we wrestled in front of like 700 fucking people. That was insane.
They were all having
They were fucking?
It was crazy. It was hard to keep concentrating on the match when everybody's having sex in a stand.
And
for the entire 3-hour show. It wasn't like 5 minutes to done. It was the entire crowd.
Yes. Pre-COVID, right?
No,
this was orgies I've heard are different than post-COVID orgies.
It started COVID.
Okay.
Yeah. Every kid from the middle school was involved in that orgy, Benny.
Oh God!
Now you're the one that said they were all fucking. Did you lock? Did you screen lock?
No, I'm just looking. I'm looking at you in disdain.
You're the one that said you wrestled in front of 700 fucking people.
Yeah.
At a middle school. That was you.
You're the one that embellished it up into orgies and.
Nope, that was Tracy.
And this podcast is now called Dinner Time with Tracy Yates.
On the Gusto channel.
Tracy's hungry and eats cheese for an hour. Yay!
That's why you need so much lettuce. Well, all right, let's go back and talk about this weekend. We had
I was just busting this jawbreaker.
I thought that was a hard-boiled egg. I was like,
I did too.
Jawbreaker.
So we went to investigate the Causey Light. Now, I've always been fascinated with ghost lights. However, because I think they're cool because it's something visual, especially if people have seen it. But I've never really thought that it would make a good episode.
Because I would go like what are the odds that you're gonna? Yeah, what are the odds you're actually gonna catch the ghost light on?
And if you do. It's just a light in the darkness. Mm-hmm. It's not like, it's not like there's a portal to hell and rainbows coming out of the center.
Sadly, not a tiny UFO that wants to be your friend.
And unless you pull up to the scene and the ghost light is there and it's moving around and there's no sound, and then you try to recreate it and you can't.
Yep.
Well, what was cool, and people who watch this episode, you'll see this, is like Luke just thought that was a car. And we were like, that wasn't a car, because what we saw was a train track. It looked like the light was on the track. And right at the train track, there was a tree line. And on the other side of the tree line was a road. And logic dictates that if there's a moving light, at some point, the trees are going to obstruct.
Very bright. I would say halfway, or like a dimmed headlight. It was, but gave off its own light source. And
yes,
I hope that was on. I'm pretty sure somebody was recording that, but that was messed up.
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, because no sound whatsoever.
No sound. So if it was a car, you would still hear
what happened.
I'm
here. That was weird.
We recreated it, how many times with your car, and you could hear gravel up to, you'd go a mile away and you could still hear gravel crunching under your tires.
Yep.
So this is one of these places where there's a lantern at a train track, and the story doesn't matter because they're all the same. Any part of the United States you live in, there's like a night watchman or a guy at the end of a caboose, a railway man with a lantern warning you about the train is coming and they're going to hit the car full of nurses or nuns or babies or whatever the horrible thing was.
Or homo nerds.
Or homo nerds. Or anyway, I was going to say something I'm not going to say. I'm trying to be nice to people today. So anyway.
Thank you.
So
exactly what you. Yeah, I do. Thank you for refraining. I appreciate that.
Because when I was saying that, I thought, people are going to think I was going to say something about the homosexual community, and I was actually thinking about your.
Yeah, no, you thought ahead.
Yeah, I did, but I used my head, and I decided not to. So anyway,
thank you.
Can on anyway. So the cool thing about that, the other thing that was wild is, so we see a ghost light. Luke is like, that's a headlight of a car. Let's stop talking about it. And everybody's like, we really don't think that was. In fact, I saw the light go shoot into the ground, into the earth at one point, and I was like, I'm not. So to me, if I'm going to be an ultra skeptic, it could have been a man or a woman with a flashlight, but it was moving too fast. And we were in the middle of nowhere. It wasn't like we were in a neighborhood. This was like a 10-mile stretch of road. And
in the middle of a cotton farm.
Yeah. This is the other thing that's strange.
This was a place where your neighbor won't hear you screaming.
Right. And didn't hear us carrying on either. It was nice.
Or see Travis shitting in the woods twice.
Yes.
Poor boy. He's like, I gotta go.
Yeah, we had some swamp bog. What was it called? Chicken bog.
Chicken bog.
It
bogged him down.
Like a secondhand church raffle meal that it didn't hit him the right way. He had to actually go poo-poo in the woods twice. So
and
I want officially a bear.
I want to tell you what bog. I got to explain to everybody, because I'd never heard of bog chicken. Nobody's ever heard of bog chicken, and
us
people in Tabor City have heard of bog chicken.
Yeah. But I will tell you that if you want to try, if you want to know what bog chicken tastes like, it tastes like Karen.
You take white rice and chicken, and you cook it together, and then you shred the chicken, and then you're done.
Well, but there was like this much. There was like two little pieces of chicken in it, and you're lucky if you get sausage. And there was like a little sliver of sausage in one of mine.
You're very lucky.
Yes,
it is. It is pretty much like if "Can I please speak to the manager" was food. It is.
It was bland. It was
despair in a box.
But for some reason, it went through the bowels of Travis Graves.
Well, because he put too much. Travis isn't a spicy food eater, and he put scorpion death sauce all in it to make it taste like something.
Oh, youth.
Candy's husband Justin is like, I love hot sauce, yet he only has 2 bottles of hot sauce that were both unopened, and one of them was called "This Will Give You Ass Cancer," and the other one is like the Antichrist in a bottle. There was no Tabasco or Cholula or anything in the middle of the road. This was all for people from other countries who eat spicy stuff all the time or something. Lori's here, Brandon's here, Leslie's here. Welcome everybody that's watching. But so anyway, the ghost light was crazy because we couldn't recreate it, and we actually have photographs that actually show, and we tell this to people when there's all these people that come and ask me and Luke and everybody else involved, Tracy and Candy and Amber and Travis, about ghost stuff. They always talk about orbs, and orbs do not impress us because 99.9% of the time it's either light, it's dust, it's bugs. But the way you can tell if an orb is special or any sort of ghost light is if it emits its own light source. Yep. And we captured this thing, and it was tricky because there were reflective signs because it's a railroad track, but we could discern those pretty easily. But there were several shots that we took where you could see a ghost light emanating its own source, and there was nothing physical down there. What
was also really weird, and I don't think we'll be able to, because it was dark out, is there was a purple mist that kept forming everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it wasn't like a mist. It was literally like a glowing purple mist.
It's the mists of Ravenloft. They were trying to get us, and we escaped.
It was Prince finally coming to
South Carolina.
Purple Rain.
He's coming to South Carolina to show us his butt cheeks.
But so there was a point where it was like, let's go down and recreate this. So Candy, Tracy, and Justin get in the car with me. I drive down, and I cross over to where we thought the light was coming from, and I actually bottomed out on the train tracks. That's how that's just not a normal place, because we saw what we thought was the ghost light turned, and we were like, did it turn kind of down a road? There was no road. This was just the only thing that could have ever gotten down there are large vehicles, and obviously we did not hear a large vehicle. And I bottomed out the van. It was a pretty big van on these train tracks. And when I was there and we were looking around and trying to see everything, and we were communicating with the other part of the team, which was Luke and Travis and Amber, what's going on, this insane blue light, purple light enveloped the car. And it was the same thing that we were seeing from far away. And it lit up and you could not see very far.
And I jumped my ass right back in the car. I was like, fuck that shit, I'm out.
And but it was like, it wasn't just a gray smoke or a smog. This was purple. And it's like, what? There was no purple lighting. There was nothing. And I'm telling you, if we gave you the address of this, and you can look it up, there's a Causey Light Facebook. It's in the middle of nowhere. This is a 10-mile stretch of road that has no turns. Now, everybody on this that it's in this podcast right now is either from a big city or the South, in one of the mountain parts of the South. We're not accustomed to seeing a road unobstructed. The Tennesseans see hills, trees, traffic, bends. People in big cities see buildings, and it's like, to see something that goes on for 10 miles until basically you can't perceive it anymore is something that's very odd for us, and probably led to some of us freaking out, because it's like, man, that has gone on forever. But spending about an hour or two out there, I think we pretty much put it to bed that was something strange that I don't think anybody here, and we're all skeptics first, and we're all pretty intelligent people. I don't think that definitely wasn't a car, and that definitely wasn't a plane.
It wasn't Superman.
Well, and then we went and investigated the Circle Cemetery, and I'm going to tell you, we have got. I was running the camera at this one point, and we've got the headphones, and it's a $high operation, and we've got the high quality mic on there, and I'm behind the camera with the headphones on, and I hear my voice go, Amber.
Okay, hold on. Let's set it up first. So Circle Cemetery, and I'll post this. If you follow me on Facebook, I'll post this tonight. Circle Cemetery is out in the middle of nowhere. Again, it's funny. This entire community is out in the middle of nowhere. There is nothing around it itself. It's like
there's a town close to Tabor City that literally there's a downtown with nothing in it. It's this whole. It's like the size of Gatlinburg with nothing in it.
It's a ghost town, and it
so
was
sad.
Tracy reminded me when she was drunk on the box of wine you gave her that it was a hurricane that ran all the people out of that city. Yeah, it's a juice box. It's Fair Bluff, South Carolina. It's the only way I
could go to sleep.
It was Fair Bluff, South Carolina, and we're going to go down there and film like a zombie movie or something, because it's amazing how much blight. It looks like Gary, Indiana, or something. It's just totally blighted. But this cemetery you're about to talk about, Luke, it's called Circle Cemetery. It's also called the Devil's Circle. It's really creepy because it's a roundabout cemetery where it makes the drive coming in makes a circle.
Yeah, the cemetery's in the middle of a cul-de-sac. It's weird.
Yeah, it is. And the cul-de-sac is in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. And gotta admit, so much crazy insanity happened in a cemetery in a short amount of time, for about an hour and a half. We're going to have to really review the evidence, but I mean, it was nuts. And before you tell your story, we went to another cemetery called All Souls. Nothing happened. Nothing. So it's not like we go to all these places and we say, we saw all these ghosts and it was crazy. It's for some reason, when Luke and me and Travis and now everybody else, a part of the team, get together, we have some sort of combination of chemistry where ghosts want to come out and make themselves known or whatever they are.
Because you guys are like stripping your clothes off and saying, let me touch your boobies. And
well, and that's one of the things my mom always said she didn't like about my mom was a big fan of Ghost Hunters, original Ghost Hunters TV show. And me and her would watch it together. We're both fans of that show. And what we liked about it is they would show investigations where nothing happened. And then Ghost Adventures came around, and every show there's a demon. And my mom's like, I can't watch that because, it's like every show. I was like, but I don't think this. I think that Ghost Adventures is a completely salacious reality ghost hunting. But
it's a comedy show.
Yeah, but it's one of the best comedies on TV. Come at me, bro, Ghost. But I will say, there's episodes of Wrestling with Ghosts that were filmed that will never make light of day because nothing happened. And we did 3 investigations in about 5 hours, and just one of them, absolutely nothing happened. But at the Circle Cemetery, what was weird was it was very centralized stuff. Like, you'd walk around 90% of the cemetery, nothing, but by two different graves, there was shit. Like there's grass moving when there's no wind blowing and no grass around it moving, but there's just one patch of grass that's moving around. But like I said, I was sitting there recording at one of them. I was recording everybody else, and Amber was also holding lights and stuff. And I hear my voice through the headphones just go, Amber. And I'm like, that wasn't me, because I think you said yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that wasn't me.
Well, and that harkens back to, if you have a Sci TV or Intrigue TV, episode 3.1 is the Spearfinger episode, which we based part of the hike on, is Spearfinger. Spearfinger is a mimic, and behind the camera, you hear Luke Walker's voice when he's the head of near the head of when we're walking down Nolan Creek Trail.
Yeah, I'm 20 feet in front of the camera.
You hear Luke's voice when he's got an idea. I've heard it a million times. Hey guys. And I'm in the very back, and I'm just like,
well, that's the other place that we did capture ghost lights, was on the Nolan Creek Trail.
Yes, and that's why we put those in the movie, except we changed them to purple because we like Prince. And it's funny now that we go to Causey Light, and they went, they were purple. We didn't have to change them from orange to purple, but
the lights in at Nolan Creek were orange, which is weird, because that's what they said.
Yeah, but that's not orange lights.
Yeah, but that's not like, orange is not like a naturally occurring color.
Not normally, no.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. The sun or lightning bugs.
No, lightning bugs are green, dude.
Well, I've got poor vision, and I'm always on.
We let you drive. That was scary.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I drive by the Holy Spirit.
That's why I had to fall asleep. I had to get drunk to fall asleep.
Jesus Christ! I don't know how you still have a driver's license.
I'm the best driver, I don't have to look at
we survived.
It's not as much of how you're driving, it's how fucking fast you're driving.
Right.
I don't have to look at the road to drive it. I can feel it. It's like the Force with me now. I can read a book. I can make an egg sandwich. I can do all sorts of things while I'm driving.
You would have hit the vent
so hard.
Yeah, you would have hit the vent on the Death Star. If you went any faster, you would have.
Yes.
I mean, it's just like you were out there targeting womp rats. It was.
Oh, we've got a lot of people talking in here. Who lives
really?
on a cul-de-sac with a cemetery? There was nobody.
Nobody lived there.
Nobody was close to living there. I'll put the picture up. If you follow me on Facebook, I'll put the picture up. It is literally in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Ironically, when we did the Nolan Creek Trail thing, that is literally it's on a road called the Road to Nowhere.
Yeah.
And the only thing close to it is a city called Proctor that was underwater 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And so these ghost lights tend to pop out when there's no light, like there's no trains, planes, human beings.
No, I think we said or when somebody did the research, I think it might have been Candy, that the closest electrical point to where we were at on Nolan Creek was 13 miles away, was the closest place that actually even had electricity. So having lights just show up as, and the Causey Light thing was, when I was there, when I first saw it, 100% headlights. I was 100% on that that's a car's headlights, that's a car with one headlight out. But you'll see when the episode comes out, you'll see that it's fucking weird.
And then at one point we see what we thought was another car, and by the time I got in the car and chased it, it was totally vanished at that point. There's no turnoffs up there. There's nowhere for it to go. So really strange stuff. And I always see like swamp gas is an explanation for ghost lights. I have no idea what that means.
Well,
I have to look that up.
That would be the swamp gas would be a reason for reflective lights. Like swamp gas. Like the aurora borealis and stuff like that is swamp gas for reflective lights. This was a concentrated light source.
Yep, and we would go down there and debunk stuff. Luke was not a believer. I don't think Luke, to be honest, to Candy or anybody watching, he was not excited about going to this place, I don't think.
I'm never excited about anything outside.
And you should.
So cold.
Good. I understand. It's just what's also weird is it's getting. I don't know if it's coronavirus or what, but it's harder to get stuff. It's harder to book places inside now. I don't know if we've.
Well, and also any place that is rumored to have a ghost wants to charge $1,800 and do a guided tour.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And screw that.
Yeah. We ain't that kind of show.
No.
And now, we get invites. I get invites about once or twice a month, somebody, and it's like something fell over once in a house, and it's like, that's not going to be a good episode. But I do appreciate Swamp Gas. I think that's Leslie Judson's new wrestling name. Road to Nowhere in Bryson City. Been there, done that. Yeah, we've gone. We filmed part of the hike there. We filmed Wrestling with Ghosts there. I went there a couple times with my family. I think we went out there for another reason. It's just a really cool place.
I went out there with my dad just to show him the dicks in the tunnel, and but it was really an excuse to go eat at that little diner in town.
They have a lot of great little restaurants, and for a place in the middle of nowhere, you'd think it'd be easy and cheap to buy a house there. But everybody there's rich, and they're from some other part of the country.
Well, if you think Gatlinburg, if people think Gatlinburg's a charming little town, then you really, really want to go to Bryson City.
That's exactly what I tell all the tourists: is people come here unfamiliar. They think Gatlinburg is going to be a quaint little nice thing. They don't realize it's going to dwarf Las Vegas. If you include Pigeon Forge, I mean, it's this in Sevierville. It's a hillbilly Vegas. It's nuts, except there's bears that will come out and eat you. That's the only difference. And there's no casinos.
And drunks that will ride the bears out of town.
Every night that I finished playing music for the last 2 weeks, I parked near some dumpsters, and there's this big ass bear to the point where I walked, like last night when I walked up to it, it didn't even lift it. It was pretty much that. It was like, "What's up, buddy?"
Yeah,
and kept walking.
Good show tonight, Luke. Honey.
It's like, did you play lunch?
You see my picnic basket?
Yeah, no, I mean, like the first time he was like all scared and shit. A couple times he got out and ran off, but this time he was just like,
Hey, he knew you were a cop.
Cool.
Yeah,
But so what we're saying is Gatlinburg, and we're not saying it's New York City, Times Square, nothing like that, but it's very hopping. It's a nuts place.
12 million people a year are here.
Visiting it.
So that's 1 million people a month.
Yeah. What people think Gatlinburg is actually Maggie Valley, and it's actually Bryson City. It's Western Carolina, Cherokee. You go over there, you'll see, like I stuck my hand in a Coke machine once and just came out covered in spiders and spider webs. I mean, it's really weird. Elk will come out and surround your car, and shake you down for lunch money or something. It's a crazy place over there. And I feel like Western Carolina is about 50 years in the past. It feels like you go into a time machine. Yeah,
Bryson City reminds me a lot of the 80s. That's when you're there, that's what I think of. I was like, it's the 80s here. Like they still have, 8-track players in their shit.
Going to a pawn shop in Western Carolina is always interesting. I found once it felt like about 12-pound monkey wrench carved in the side. It said, "Sleep well, bitch." I don't know why anybody scraped that into the side of this giant pipe wrench, but I almost bought it.
You know, it was the deli man. The deli man did it.
Now he's in Bucksnort, Tennessee. He's on the other side of the crazy state. But yeah, but that Western Carolina, man, that's crazy. I know I've told that story a million times where Luke and I were on a 90-mile stretch of highway after a wrestling show with no gas stations open for 90 miles on the eastern seaboard. I just never thought that would happen.
Well, if you really want a mountain experience, you go to Bryson City, go to Franklin. Franklin, North Carolina is an awesome place too.
Where's that at?
It's real close to Bryson City. It's about 10 miles past it, but I mean, it's got like natural gem mines. It's got a lot of river rafting and stuff like that.
South going to Bryson City or going to Murphy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, like they have actual where you can go into the mines and gem, and and they've got you go to these gem mine places in tourist towns, and they just put gems in a bucket full of sand and dump it out, and they actually have chunks of riverbed, and I pulled amethysts, like natural amethysts, like that big out of there, and really cool. That's a lot of fun because you're sifting through real shit instead of just pre-made stuff. But river rafting, they got campgrounds. That's if you want a real mountain getaway, you go to Franklin and Bryson City.
So Travis is excited about Here Comes the Mummies, and he wants to play saxophone now. We've been trying. It's a funk band. I just want to say it's a funk band. Very funny. It seemed like everybody enjoyed the song "Pants" on the ride. Played music.
Yeah, I've heard that quite a few times, and that's a great song.
And so it's a funk band. Here come the Mummies, and the great thing about them is they all dress up as mummies. And when they do interviews and stuff, somebody from a radio station will be like, "Hey, well, great show tonight. How was it playing with lettuce?" And they'd be like, and the manager has to come out, and he's like in a suit going, hey, he's trying to talk. He's over 3,000 years. He's over 5,000 years old. Let me answer the questions for you. So they're a funny band. But
and what's great about
albums or discography there.
Yeah, what's great about them is they're like like Kiss is a gimmick band, but Kiss, the whole satanic stuff, that's all a gimmick. Those guys are a bunch of old Jewish guys from New York.
These guys are actually mummies.
Yeah, these guys are actually mummies. No, but Kiss also, if you take the makeup off and you strip it down, Kiss sucks. They're not good musicians. They're not good songwriters.
They're going to sue us.
No, that's fine. I'd rather listen to Hugs anyway. But the Mummy, Here Come the Mummies is they're fucking blazingly talented.
Oh yeah, funk bands.
Yeah,
funk bands are the best bands. They can do it all, and they
have this stupid gimmick of dressing up like mummies, but they're freaking awesome. It's like Mac Sabbath. It's guys dressed up like the Hamburglar and Mayor McCheese that play covers of Black Sabbath tunes, and they're awesome.
I just found last night I drove all the way to Kentucky to do a run, and I let the machine pick out. We think you would like these bands. Have you ever heard of the DGs, which is a heavy metal version? They do all Bee Gees songs, but they're heavy. But it's just like cool. The high pitched voices.
Sounds fun.
It's a travesty, and you're just like, that's crazy. It's fun to listen to.
Nice.
Yeah, it's. I just found out that Greta Van Fleet is not a chick singer. It's a male band.
Yeah. It's like Queens of the Stone Age. That one threw me for a loop. Or Queen. Anytime the gender bender stuff. Alice Cooper.
They have the name of the name of their band is a girl's name. It's not, it's just Greta Van Fleet, and you're like, okay, which one's Greta? Because like two of them, kind of pretty dudes, Do
you want to tell everybody about your a nice conversation on the way over when I was trying to get Travis to look at the water towers when we were going down to the Causey Light and see Candy. Do you want to talk to anybody about the soft loam versus the hard loam?
Hey man, I never said that I wasn't a fucking nerd or that I didn't know that I'm not actually, that I'm literally an expert in shit that is stupid.
So this is for everybody from Ohio that watches the show. There's a contingency or percentage of people that actually ask East Tennesseans the question, when do you turn the smoke on? Meaning that they actually think there's an actual lever that somebody like the mayor of Mountain City, North Carolina, flips, and then all the smoke starts to come out of the vents. Now you're saying the soft loam.
It's because we have a soft loam of probably about 3 to 6 inches of basically people gave Donald Trump shit for saying rake the forest. They didn't rake the forest because they were like, well, what do they think? They're going to go out there with a rake and pull? Well, when you rake a forest, what you're doing is you're scratching off the soft loam because the soft loam will build up heat. It's a
compost.
Debris. It's a compost. It's a debris. It's like 3 to 6 inches of debris would be a soft loam, and it captures humidity and it captures moisture, and it captures moisture. And
there's going to be a test.
And in the morning, when it gets warm, when it starts warming up in the morning, that humidity escapes and creates the smoke in the Smoky Mountains.
Donald Trump.
But it would be pretty funny if a small town mayor put together a festival in the springtime or something where they throw this giant ceremonial lever.
But no, that was one of the things.
Smoke on for the Ohioans.
I will never be accused of being a Trump supporter or even a fan. I've hated that guy since I was trying to watch it was the Green Bay Packers versus the Bears on Monday Night Football, and they interrupted it because he's marrying somebody.
I haven't liked him since he didn't help Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone.
But that kind of made me laugh when all the liberals were freaking out, going, "He thinks they go out there and use rakes." And no, there's a thing called raking the loam, which was what he was talking about.
Raking the loam. I swear to God,
that sounds like a band name.
When we're done with all these horror movies and stuff, we need to start making these like a senior citizen romance movies. Raking the Loam.
Raking the Loam.
Sounds like one of those terrible British movies where all they do is just go, "Can I?"
No, it sounds like an early '90s movie featuring River Phoenix. Is it?
Yes. It sounds.
And
Raking the Loam would play right before Shadowlands or something like that.
Yeah, it's Raking the Loam with River Phoenix and Jamie Gertz and Alan Alda as the quirky rebellious father.
Yes. Yeah, we can do it. Yeah, Anthony Hopkins is in it for a minute. He's like the shopkeeper. Don't you ever come out here and rake the loam without permission. So anyway, that would be in the gloaming Shadowlands, Raking the Loam. That's what we're going to do. We're gonna make 3 movies in a row.
Here we go.
Yeah, from just old crap nobody ever want to watch.
And then
name another forever on Lifetime.
And then the 4th movie we'll name it after in a really obscure Van Morrison song.
Like what?
Into the Mystic. No, they already did Into the Mystic, didn't they?
Well, I know Lifetime has a lot of movies that do the. It's basically prepositional phrases like that. Into the Mist, 3-word prepositional phrases.
Dude, I want to do a Skinemax movie but have no sex in it, but just so we can call it something. Remember the Skinemax movies were all like Forbidden Voyeur, and.
What about we do a movie?
Hey, cat! No, that's my cheese.
We're doing a show here.
Sorry.
What if we do it, since we're all friends and most of us are all married and we can't make out with each other, we could do a sex movie with all of us. But every time it gets hot and heavy, we could do the squiggle vision like they had back when you couldn't pay for and we just do
the cable's got out.
Yeah. That's a tit. That's definitely a tit right there.
Yes. I remember watching George Foreman fight Lennox Lewis with squiggle vision, and I'm like, oh, I see him. He's standing up right now, and it's just like it would all go bad. And
That would be hilarious.
It would be good.
That would be.
It'd be a way to kind of get freaky and not get divorced.
My neighbor worked for the cable company and knew how to, and showed me how to get free cable every channel without having to have those boxes that everyone was buying back in the day. All you did, what they would do, they would put this little cylinder at the end of the line underneath that green cap in your backyard, where all the cable came out of, and they would put a cylinder on there, and that was a filter. All you had to do is go out and remove the filter, and you got all the channels.
Now you tell me.
Well, I mean, they stopped doing that.
20 years too late.
Yeah.
Now you tell me. I could have had so much good. I could have seen so many boobs in bad movies back then. That's kind of like they used to sell them. I don't know if you remember that. This is getting kind of weird, but like they would sell these satellite with the chips. They would have the things where the satellites you would get all the satellites with no restrictions, and everybody wanted to see like the Spice Channel and the Playboy Channel and stuff like that. And they would like a country guy would buy that from his friend for $150. He's like, I got all the channels. And about every month they would shoot down some sort of signal that would fry all the chips and ruin the thing. And the guy'd be like, damn it, they fried my chips. So that's, boy, I'm telling you, we're getting to a day and age where the stuff that we used to do, like pay 10 cents a text, sounds like we're making that shit up.
Oh yeah, you have to wait to call me until after 9 o'clock.
Yes.
And calling your mom from a payphone to come and pick you up. You're calling her collect and be like, "Hey mom, I'm at the Waggles, come and get me."
Or having a system with your family where you didn't have to pay for the collect call, but if you just said something like, "It's my name is like Marmaduke,"
like we had a baby, it's a boy.
Yeah, Marmaduke.
Yes, I was thinking we had a baby, it's a boy.
Yeah. That's I remember that too. But we actually had something like that, like Marmaduke meant I'm in trouble or call me or whatever. I don't know, something like that. People don't believe that now. Yeah,
where you had to answer you had to look at your pager and then go find a payphone to call your friend and.
or people would page you like the code.
Well, that's
and you have to like look at the phone number, the which letters were what, and you're like, well, what is this? And
that's
felt like a junior cryptographer.
One of the songs I sing is Sylvia's Mother from Dr. Hook, and in that it says, and the operator says 40 cents more for the next 3 minutes, and like I'm sitting there going, nobody under the age of 30 understands what I just sang.
I don't even know, 30, maybe 35, 38 now at this point. I mean, it's Generation X. We were talking today. I don't think we're aging gracefully. I don't think we like getting older. It's I don't think we're doing it well.
I would like there to be a revolution of de-evolution where we get rid of all this fancy shit that we don't need.
How do you do that now? Let the cat out of the bag.
Well, I mean, it's like a lot of people are going to van life, where they're disconnecting and living in vans. I'd love, just if there was a way to, where people just got together and said, let's not use the internet for 8 hours, these 8 hours a day.
But there's since we're entertainers, we have over 100 people watch this podcast every week. We have thousands of people watch The Hike and our new movies and stuff like that. It's too much temptation. And you got to have it now, or if not, we could all live on a compound and just entertain each other. I guess that would be kind of fun.
Yeah, just make movies and have premieres for each other. I like it.
I think it'd be a whole lot better if we would get rid of the whole like appearances and worry more about our insides, like we are.
That's a good damn point, because
mental health.
Facebook is all about appearances. I mean, I've seen people
too worried about exteriors.
At a restaurant, everybody's sitting around looking sad. You're around your effing friends, and you're lucky enough to be able to you can afford to pay for food, eating out. Everybody's sad, and then when they bring the camera out, everybody goes,
well, as a musician who played to dinner crowds for the last 3 months, half of my shows were to dinner crowds. It's what it's like is I'm sitting there playing lively music and telling jokes, and the crowd is like, and people just sitting there. I'm like, dude, you're on a rooftop drinking a freshly squeezed margarita. and you're basically staring either at your phone or at the table. You're not conversing. You're not looking around.
By the beauty of the mountains.
That's the question. Like I said, 12 million people come to Gatlinburg a year, and maybe 300,000 of them have a good time. Everybody else is just miserable. I'm like, what? You know, if you're in line, you're in line. You can't complain about the line because you're in that line. You can't complain about the traffic because you're here too. You can't complain. You know, it's just enjoy what's going on.
I know the three of us up here went to go see you play, and the only thing we stared at was what the hell was happening in that guy's pants.
I was running camera while you were playing your bass, and I was broadcasting that because it was awesome.
That guy had a huge package.
Yeah, I'm sitting there singing like I'm sitting there, you know, singing songs like, you know, down on this guy's got a huge dick, Main Street. Yes.
He looked like Roger Rex with a 5-foot-long penis. Is what it looked like happening.
Dude,
it went on halfway its leg. I had to whenever he stood up.
That why there's 12 million people visiting us a year? It's because of that guy.
Yeah, they're here to see the giant.
Yeah,
they're not here to see the mountains. They're here to see that guy's personal mountain.
Well, that's what Sasquatch